When you live with health anxiety, you're always scanning for habits that can protect your body and calm your mind. I've spent years looking for things I can control, little daily actions backed by science that lower my risk of something going wrong. One of the most powerful yet overlooked ones is hydration. Water seems too simple to matter, but the reality is that every cell in our body depends on it. We can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without water. And still, most of us walk around mildly dehydrated. For someone like me, that's both scary and motivating. Scary because dehydration affects so many systems in ways I can feel. Motivating because drinking water is one of the easiest fixes I'll ever find. Hydration is critical for brain function. The brain itself is about 3/4 water. Even slight dehydration, just 1 to 2% of body weight, can reduce memory, attention, and mood. That means if I skip fluids, I'm more likely to feel foggy, irritable, and anxious. Since anxiety already scrambles my focus, I don't need dehydration making things worse. Drinking water throughout the day helps me feel sharper and steadier, which in turn makes health worries a little easier to manage. Another huge benefit is cardiovascular health. Blood is more than 90% water, and hydration helps it flow easily. When fluids run low, blood thickens, which strains the heart. Over time, chronic low intake is linked with higher risks of heart problems. Because heart symptoms, like a racing pulse or skipped beat, can trigger my anxiety, I find it reassuring to know that something as simple as steady hydration supports circulation and blood pressure. Digestion also relies heavily on water. Fluids help break down food, move nutrients, and keep everything moving smoothly. Without enough, constipation sets in. For someone with health anxiety, digestive discomfort often sparks catastrophic thinking, wondering if pain or bloating means something serious. Staying hydrated minimizes those flare-ups and keeps the digestive process routine instead of stressful. Kidneys are another system that depends on water. Their job is to filter waste from the blood and keep electrolytes balanced. When dehydrated, that job becomes harder, and the risk of kidney stones increases. I've never had stones, but I know how painful they are, and just the thought motivates me to drink more. Water dilutes urine, flushes out waste, and keeps kidneys functioning the way they should. The immune system also works better when you're hydrated. Fluids support the lymphatic system, which moves infection-fighting cells around the body. Hydration also keeps mucous membranes in the nose and throat moist, so they can trap viruses and bacteria. If I'm slacking on fluids, my first line of defense is weaker. Since every little cough or sniffle can send me spiraling, I like knowing that hydration is actively helping me stay resilient. Skin health is another piece of the puzzle. While water alone won't erase wrinkles, it does help skin maintain elasticity and heal properly. Dehydrated skin looks dull and feels more irritated. I don't obsess over appearances, but I do notice that when I'm drinking enough, my skin looks healthier, which gives me a sense of overall vitality. Hydration even plays a role in body temperature. Sweating is how the body cools down, but it only works well when fluids are available. If I'm low on water, I overheat more easily, and that dizzy or faint feeling can instantly spark anxiety. Drinking steadily throughout the day keeps my body temperature stable and reduces those false alarm sensations. So how much water do you really need? That's where things get confusing. The old 8 glasses a day rule isn't wrong, but it's an oversimplification. According to the U.S. National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, men need about 3.7 liters per day, and women about 2.7 liters. The good news is that total includes all fluids: water, coffee, tea, milk, and even the water content of fruits and vegetables. Still, plain water is the best and most efficient choice. Personally, I aim for around 3 liters daily, adjusting for things like weather, activity, and diet. If I've been exercising or it's hot outside, I drink more. If I've eaten a lot of water-rich foods like cucumbers or oranges, I need a little less. The point isn't to chase exact ounces, but to stay consistently ahead of thirst. That leads to a common challenge. What if you don't feel thirsty very often, or you forget to drink? That's been one of my struggles. One technique that works is carrying a reusable water bottle everywhere. Having it visible makes me sip without overthinking. Another trick is adding flavor: lemon, cucumber, mint, or even a splash of juice. Herbal teas and sparkling waters also count and break up the monotony. I also use routines to anchor hydration. A glass right when I wake up, one with every meal, and one before bed. Those touch points alone cover a big chunk of my intake. I sometimes link hydration to habits. Every time I check my phone, I take a sip. Every time I stand up, I refill my bottle. Small cues like that stack up fast. If I'm dragging, I'll use a straw. For some reason, sipping through a straw makes it easier to drink more without realizing it. And on days when I'm busy, I'll set a gentle reminder on my phone every couple of hours. Instead of letting hydration become another obsession, I treat it like a quiet background habit. For me, hydration is less about chasing perfection and more about removing unnecessary triggers. Headaches, fatigue, dizziness, brain fog, all things that dehydration can cause, are also things that send my health anxiety into overdrive. By drinking steadily, I eliminate those false alarms and keep my baseline steadier. Of course, hydration won't erase anxiety completely, but it's one of the most accessible, affordable, and impactful habits I've found. It supports my brain, my heart, my digestion, my kidneys, my skin, my immune system, and even my peace of mind. And that's what I'm always looking for: simple, proven ways to feel healthier and more in control. So if you're like me and want to do everything you can to stay healthy, start with water. Carry a bottle, sip regularly, and make hydration part of your daily rhythm. You'll think clearer, feel better, and give your body exactly what it's asking for. Hydration is health, hydration is prevention, and hydration is one of the easiest gifts you can give yourself every single day.